Good afternoon, everyone. I hope all of you are doing fine. Yes. So this is actually the point where we had stopped with the you know we just understood what's a compound microscope and how it works. Yes. So this was our last topic and where we had stopped. So in our next topic, let's see what is it. Oh. So our next topic is about onion peel cells and human cheek cells. Now, from these two, I hope that you must have some idea about um, now animal cell and plant cell. Do you have? If no, then let me tell that what's a plant cell and animal cell. Plant cell and animal cell. So, as the scientists had told that all plants have cells and all animals have cells, so basically they are actually different from each other. Plant cells and animal cells are quite different from each other. They have their own different organelles. Most of the organelles are same, but some are not. So, I've shown you this diagram to tell that onion peel cells. It's a plant cell and your human cheek cells is your animal cell. So these cells you can visualize and see that these two are quite different from each other. Over here I hope you can notice a boundary kind of thing, but here you won't notice that thick boundary. So that's a cell wall which is present only in the plant cell, and they have two layers basically if you notice in a keen manner. But over here there is only one layer because they have only cell membrane. Only cell membrane. Now what are these? Cell wall, cell membrane, both. So we'll be covering those topics also. Now you might notice some these things. What are these? These are the nucleus. This is the nucleus. Okay, it's a microscopic view. Microscopic view. Okay, and over here also if you notice this is the nucleus. And what is this white thing over here? It's the cytoplasm. And over here it's cytoplasm. Now what are these materials and all we'll be discussing. Now another thing, you will see that all these cells are basically attached, but over here they are scattered all around. Why? So there are many differences between a plant cell and animal cell. What are those? Over here we noticed one difference, that is plant cell has a cell wall but animal cell doesn't have. Then what are the other differences we'll be covering in our upcoming session. So this is just a kind of introduction to you but about plant and animal cell. The next thing which we have to discuss is, so we actually observe plant cell, animal cell. Cell wall is present. So basically, why do only plant cells have cell wall? Why do animal cells don't have? Cell wall is absent. This is one difference which we can view between the onion peel cell and human cheek cell. Yes, this is difference. But there are many more differences which we'll be learning. The next thing is unicellular and multicellular organisms. So organisms based on their cell, they are divided into broadly into two. One is based on the number of cell, then based on the what kind of nucleus they have, then based on their shape. Not two, actually they are divided into many just based on the shape, size, number, and the arrangement of the nucleus or the genetic material. So in these ways, the cells are basically classified to, many times. There are many kinds of cells. So first is unicellular and multicellular organisms. So what are they? Unicellular organisms, they are composed of a single cell. That means they have only one cell. One cell. The entire organism is made up of only one cell. Let me give an example. It's a bacteria. If you know a bacteria, then multicellular organisms composed of more than one cell, so many cells. They have many cells. Example, if you go with humans, includes both prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Includes only eukaryotes. Now, what are these prokaryotes, and all? We'll be learning. For now, you just understand that eukaryotes have a proper membrane bounded organelles with proper organelles they have. That means they are basically um, kind of very modern type of cells. They are very properly arranged in a uniformed manner, organized. Eukaryotes, for you understand, you are organized, and prokaryotes not organized. So just scattered, the genetic material is scattered. And genetic material, I hope you understand, the DNA, gene, okay, the where the characteristics from where the characteristics of the parent cell passes on to their offspring. I hope you know this. What's the genetic material? Yes. So here examples are bacteria, amoeba, paramecium, and yeast are examples of unicellular organisms. And multicellular, humans, animals, plants, birds, and insects are examples of multicellular organisms. Next thing. So here is an image. Image is basically paramecium, amoeba, bacteria, yeast. So they are just made up of one cell. This is a complete one cell, and this is a complete one organism also. Okay, so this is basically prokaryote. This bacteria, I hope you can see this kind of structure. It's a prokaryote. Oh, here insect, human body, plant body, these are multicellular organisms. Next thing. Whoa. The shape of cells. So based on the shape of cells, also we have different cells have different kind of shapes. You can notice amoeba's shape, bacteria's, yeast. So different cells have different shapes. The shape of amoeba. Now we'll be taking the shape of amoeba. I hope you can see. The shape of amoeba is irregular. Irregular in the sense it is not. It's in this manner. Yes, it's not completely into a fixed shape. It's irregular. Somewhere it's small, somewhere it's big, and so on. That's the shape. It keeps on changing its shape. How? Observe the projections of varying lengths protruding out of its body. These are called pseudopodia. Pseudo means falls and podia means feet. Pseudopodia. So what are these pseudopodia? I hope you can notice this. This is the amoeba and it's irregular in shape. So whenever it's, so all our living organisms need food to eat, right? So whenever it does, so whenever it sees its prey, it just starts acting like a predator and just jumps to grab it. So what does it do? It just, this is the false feet. You see this, they are marked as pseudopodia. So what it forms a food cup. It just engulfs that prey inside. Then it forms the food vacuole, and then just digests it by releasing some enzymes. So isn't it changing its shape? So over here you can see how was the shape. Over here the shape has changed. Then furthermore the shape has changed, and then again the shape has changed, and again. So first it was normal, then it was just trying to get prey, then it just form the food cup. See, you can see the shape is basically changing, right? And then it engulfed it and kept it. The shape is different, and then it tried to digest. Shape is different. So basically, the shape is changing from time to time. This was one example of how the shape changes. The second is a white blood cell or WBC in human blood is another example of a single cell which can change its shape. So a WBC, white blood cells. Now, but do you know what is the work of white blood cells in our body? Do you all know? They are basically like the immunity, basically for the immunity. Okay, but white blood cell is a cell. Amoeba is full-fledged organism capable of independent existence. So this is just a single cell. It's not an organism. But amoeba is an organism. So WB cells changes its shape. Then different shapes are related to the specific functions. So why do each cell has different shape? Why this cell of amoeba is has a different shape, whereas the cell of the WBC cell has a different shape? Why? Because it's according to the function. Generally, cells are round, spherical, or elongated. Some cells are long and pointed at both ends. They exhibit spindle shape. So many are round, some are in this manner, some are in some other manner. Cells sometimes are quite long. Some are branched like the nerve cell or a neuron. So you might have observed a neuron. I'll be showing its image also. So it has a it has many type of, it's quite long and a branched stem cell. Now why do this neuron or nerve cell have this kind of structure? Because the nerve cell receives and transfers messages, thereby helping to control and coordinate the working of different parts of the body. So when you are gonna take your message from one end to the other end, you must be long, right? To enough to carry and transfer the messages. That's the reason. So over here, let me just show you. I hope you can view these images. So this is basically a neuron. Now why is it so long? It's long because its work is so. It has the work of delivering messages from one end to the other end. That's the reason. Different human cells, shapes and structures. Our bone cell is also different. Our intestine cell is different. Our white blood cell, ovum, sperm cell, red blood cell, so each you can see has a different structure. So their structure is basically because of their function. It's gonna help them in their function. Amoeba has a different shape, paramecium has a different shape. So I hope you all understood these things, that each cell has its own shape and it's quite different from the other. From in a human body also, for different organs you can see, or different parts you can see different kinds of cells. Yes. Yes. So I hope you understood till here. Next thing. Can you guess which part of the cell gives its shape? Now, so over here you noticed that different cells have different shape. But which part gives it this shape? Which part? The answer. Components of cell are enclosed in a membrane. This membrane provides shape to the cells of plants and animals. Cell wall is an additional covering over the cell membrane in plant cells. It gives shape and rigidity to these cells. Bacterial cell also has a cell wall. So this is basically, so this membrane provides shape to this is a cell membrane. Basically, the cell membrane gives the shape in animals, whereas whereas the cell wall over the cell membrane that is only present in the plant cells gives them the shape. Cell wall over here, it gives shape and rigidity to these shells. Bacterial cell also has a cell wall. Bacterial cell, I hope you viewed a bacterial cell. Yes. So a bacterial cell also has a cell wall, if you can notice this outer covering. And the plants have plant cells over here, if you magnify, if they have the cell, so they have one, and this is a cell membrane, and they have the another, that's the cell wall. So they have basically two. Yes. So I hope you understood that which gives the shape. For today, it's enough, and in our next sessions, we'll be learning more on cells. Isn't it really interesting? I hope so. Till now, thank you.